Welcome to the Sit Down Zumock podcast, everybody. This is the Z-Man coming at you live and direct from Los Angeles, California, the home of Brad Pitt. I don't know. I'm assuming he lives here somewhere, unless that fucking bitch, Billy Bob Thornton's ex-wife, took his money. Either way. Hey, good to be here. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm doing a Facebook Live right now, so I'm going to be answering some of these questions. I'm going to be talking about a couple subjects, but before we get into that, let's get some dates out of the way. I want to thank everyone that came out to the Minnesota House of Comedy last week. I was in that damn Mall of America from March 6th all the way to March 11th. Went outside twice. And I don't miss the snow at all, but you guys came to the show. Thank you very much for everyone that came. People from this podcast, people from Punch Drunk came. Even someone from By Chad came. Sam Tripoli's podcast about me, By Chad. And it was a great weekend. I'm glad to be out of that mall, though. I was going claustrophobic, almost went Jack Nicholson, The Shining, and killed somebody. I was looking for a woman that looked like Shelley Duvall to kill with an axe. And then I was going to kill a kid. I was going crazy. This week, I'm back in Los Angeles. I'm doing shows next week in Los Angeles. I'll be at the Sycamore Tavern, the Dojo, Thursday, the 21st. The 23rd, I'm doing a show with Jim Florentine, Sam Tripoli, Joe Bartnick, and just added, Shuli from the Howard Stern Show will be on the shows with us. And we will be at the, stay with me, looking it up right now. I don't know the venue. Yes, I do. It is at, we're calling ourselves the Shady Fucks. We're in Huntington Beach. Oh, can't wait to go out to Huntington Beach, baby. And we are at, holy shit, Brent Ernst is in town. That son of a bitch never told me. The Rec Room. We are at the Rec Room in Huntington Beach. Come out. Tell your friends. Should be fun. Week after that, I'll be at the Denver Improv with my buddy Godfrey. You know, I said I'm going to slow down on the road, and I'm really trying. And everything I'm getting has just been, I haven't been seeking it out. Like gigs, I've been trying to slow down with stand-up because I'm kind of burned out, and I'm focusing on my health and more podcasting. I'm just trying to health, podcasts, and auditions. But I keep getting gigs, which is a good thing, I think. And I'm grateful for the work, but I remember those years of me just cold calling, contacting people, just chasing money nonstop around the country. It was an adventure. I think in 2013, 14, and 15, I traveled the country more than anyone. I was constantly on the road every weekend somewhere. I was just getting the calendar filled. And because of that, I have a nice little nest egg saved because I was very frugal with my money. And I was, even me being a raging alcoholic, I was smart for some reason, saving some money, making bad decisions, but I saved some bucks where I can dick around and enjoy it. Speaking of enjoy it, the late, great Brody Stevens had a memorial on Monday, and at the Comedy Store, it was a great turnout. Everyone was there from the cast of The Hangover, Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Zach Galifianakis, Dr. Ken. Dr. Ken remembered me, which was interesting because I met Dr. Ken when I first started comedy, and he was standing there, and he goes, "Chad, how are you?" I'm like, "How do you remember me, Dr. Ken? You son of a bitch. You're a doctor, and you are a movie star." But it was a great turnout, and it was great to see so many people talk about Brody, from his high school teammates to his high school friends to his college roommate, friends. I mean, the guy knew everybody. I forgot who the comic was. I don't even think he was a comic. Said why Brody was so special is if it was high school, he could sit at the cool kids table, the popular kids, the nerds, the jocks, the theater people. Like, he was so universal. He was so well loved by everybody. And if you looked at the Comedy Store Monday, you would see that. We'd see every group, from movie stars to athletes to comics to the alt comics to the door guys, to the dishwasher, to the sound guy. They were all there to see and pay their condolences to the late, great Brody Stevens. And I've been putting photos up of Brody on my Instagram, and I got a comment from somebody saying, dude, get over it. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Get over it? I lost a good friend of mine, and I can't post photos? I'm never going to stop posting photos of Brody Stevens. I'm never going to stop talking about him. I'm sorry. If you're annoyed by it, go listen to something else, dude, because Brody Stevens was not only a friend of mine, he was a comic that needs to be recognized, and I've talked highly about him when he was alive, and I will continue to talk highly about him for the rest of my life. And I'm not getting over it, and I will talk about Brody, and I will post photos about Brody any chance I get, because he meant a lot to me. So there were also a lot of people that emailed me. Ashley sent me nice messages and DMs, and it's a sad time losing a friend, especially the way it happened. Luckily, I've been doing the right things in my life. You can never plan someone's death or how to handle it the right way, but I remember the anniversary of my mom dying in January. That was a difficult one because I was in a really, really depressed time. I was going through some things in my personal life. I was drinking daily, drinking myself to sleep, and I was in a bad place. I wasn't happy. I missed my family. I was living back home, and going back home to the same situation really, really, I just went right back into my old bad habits, bad routine. I didn't like being there. I didn't like being around that scene anymore. A lot of comics really went out of their way to make me the bad guy, and I regret a lot of things that I did and said, but once you try to move on with your life and people don't let you move on, even if you own your mistake or say sorry and they still want to keep you pigeonholed into this weird thing, it's time to move on. And that's what I did. I decided to make the decision to go to Los Angeles. I had a cool opportunity to write on a game show pilot, and it was a great decision. So as soon as I got here, I started doing healthy things, working out again, doing yoga, seeing a counselor, back on medication. And then when you lose Brody, a good friend, you don't go back to those bad habits. I was building upon good habits. So instead of falling on my face again, I just fell down and got right back up. So, yeah, I want to thank everyone that reached out, because it means a lot, especially if you lost somebody, you can understand. It's just, it's a terrible, terrible thing. But let's get to this week's episode, the Sit Down Zumock podcast episode. I'm on Facebook Live right now doing this. You can head over there, facebook.com. This isn't live on my podcast, so I don't know. You could still head over there and press like if you're just listening to the audio portion. It's Chad Zumock on Facebook. Also, hey, on my Patreon, everybody, Patreon, sit down, or it's patreon.com/sitdownzumock. I just posted an episode of my appearance on Ryan Sickler's The Honeydew, and it doesn't come out until next Wednesday. So this is an exclusive. It is behind the scenes. It is bonus content. I hook people up. VIP, baby. Studio 54. If you want to get behind the red rope, $3 a month. That's all it is. $3 a month for bonus episodes, bonus content, sneak previews. You are our VIP member for only $3 a month. So that's what's going on right now at the Patreon. Hit it up. Tell a friend, $3 a month. You can find $3 in your car, change, in the seats. Look under your couch. Muster that up, and it goes right back to the podcast. I start buying video equipment. Oh, that reminds me. I left my camera in Minneapolis. Shit. Minnesota. I got to contact the club to get my goddamn video camera. All right. Here we go. I got Facebook Live questions, and I want to get into the episode. Matthew Moochler says, "You're the man, Chad. Miss you in the 216. Thank you, homie. Randy J says, let me borrow $275. Go fuck yourself, Randy. You're my friend. But you can go fuck yourself. Matthew Teach says, hey, nice surprise. See open for Nate Bargatze in Cleveland. That was a great night. Yes, Matt. Nate's a great comic. His new Netflix special is coming out very shortly. Nate's been a friend of mine since the beginning, and I'm very grateful that he asked me to open, especially my birthday. Even though I was depressed, that was a good weekend for me just to get away from my crazy thoughts. Oh, boy. Brian Green. Browns win, lose next season, Chad. Browns, baby. What can you say about the Cleveland Browns, huh? If you are a Cleveland fan, OBJ is on the way. It's happening, reuniting with Jarvis Landry with an exciting young quarterback in Baker Mayfield. By the way, I met Baker Mayfield. Did I say this on the podcast? Did I tell you I met the Cleveland Browns quarterback, Baker Mayfield, in Los Angeles, California, in the Valley, 818, till Brody Stevens dies. We were leaving a sushi restaurant. I was with Sam Tripley and his girlfriend, and we were at the valet. Who do I see? Well, Sam sees him. There's only like 6 people standing there. He goes, that's Baker Mayfield. And I look over. He's not looking over at us. I know he heard it. And Sam just goes, hey, are you Baker Mayfield? And he's like, yeah, what's up? Real short. And he goes, dude, he's from Cleveland. He points to me, and he goes, oh, cool. I'm like a Browns fan. I swear to God. And I show him a photo. I'm struggling through my phone. I show him a photo of me and Bernie Kosar, and he's like, oh, Bernie, yeah. I go, that's my favorite photo. So would you mind if I take my second favorite photo? And I took a photo with me and Baker. It's on my Instagram. Head over there. You could like the photo. It's just me and Baker. I took like a little selfie, even though I hate saying that word selfie, but he was really nice. And I asked him, I go, what do you think about, this is before we got OBJ. I go, what do you think our chances are next year? And he goes, yeah, all I'm thinking about is the Super Bowl. What about you? And I go, I love this guy. Shit, yeah, Baker Mayfield. Shit, yes. As a Cleveland sports fan, how exciting is it for the Browns to be good? We are going to be good. Oh, I think Baker Mayfield was already quoted by saying, going to love playing with OBJ and Landry. Oh, my, that offense with Chubb, man, we are going to be killing it. Oh, man. I mean, it's going to be I think Baker said, I think he talked to ESPN, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was quoted, you just let them be themselves and make plays. That's who they are. And when it comes down to it, the guys in the locker room, you're going to love playing with them. I think that's what he said. But, dude, we're going to be scoring the shit. We're going to be scoring touchdowns. You know, you got Landry doing the slots, and then you got OBJ for the big, exciting plays. Oh, by the way, I already forgot his name. It just escaped me. Who was the drama queen receiver that we had? Flash Gordon. You remember how we were like, oh my God, when we cut him? And now, look, we got probably one of the most talented receivers in the league who's playing with one of his best friends and a young quarterback. It's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be great. You got running back Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt, after he serves his 8-game suspension for defending himself from bitches. I don't know if that's the proper thing to say in 2018 when white guys like myself are being taken down left and right for anything. But I'm going to say, since he's a Cleveland Brown, I got his back. So, Kareem Hunt, let's get over this. We're gonna have a fun season. We're going to the playoffs, baby. And according to Baker Mayfield, we're going to the Super Bowl. Did you hear that? Super Bowl. Yes. The Super Bowl, bitches. It's going to be so much fun. Renee Welton Weber. Michigan, the 2-1-6-2. But I'm in the 515 now. You coming to Des Moines, Iowa anytime soon? I tell you where I'm going to be. If you want to drive 1 hour to Omaha Memorial Day weekend, I will be there with Godfrey. I don't know the exact date. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm headlining that Thursday. So, yeah, let's make that happen. And I might get who knows, I might get a weekend in Des Moines. We'll see how it works. Oh, boy. Josh Gordon is the name. Thank you, Tristan. I had a blank. Eli Thomas says, Bears going to the bowl, baby. You can kiss my ass. Brian Michael. Batchley? Did I say that right? Did you ever work it out with Bob and Tom? You know what's funny? There was a video 2 months ago of me walking off the Bob and Tom show. It's no longer there. I think they took it down. And it was a thing for like a couple days for me. It was brewing. The last couple times I've been on Bob and Tom, they've been kind of cold to me. They've been kind of dicks. So I kind of went in there with the attitude that I wasn't going to be in a good mood if they were going to be assholes. And they were assholes right out of the gate. As soon as I got to the green room, Chick McGee was kind of cold, making a couple of stabs at me. I'm like, all right, here we go. Then they were not acknowledging me in studio when we're coming back from commercial break. And Tom kind of gave me this cold intro. And then he made a comment. I thought that was directed to me, but it was actually directed to Josh Arnold. And I took it the wrong way. And I kind of just stormed out of there, threw off my headphones. And, and I called a couple people. I talked to their producer, and that was that. And just this last week, for some reason, that post has been making its rounds, and people are commenting, and they're sending me emails about Bob and Tom. And I got to be honest with you, it hasn't even been a thought in my mind until you contact me. I don't even think about it. I don't know why it's becoming a thing now. And apparently they're talking about it on the show, like 45 days with a comic not walking out. I don't know. I don't listen, so I don't know what's going on. Here's the thing about Bob and Tom. In the beginning, they were very good to me. And I actually was, I guess, being considered for the job, I think, when Bob left. But I knew that show wasn't a good fit for me, and I'm assuming they thought the same thing. But I have no animosity towards them anymore. I mean, I think Chick's kind of a dick, but I don't think about him. It's not a... What is this couch auction? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not selling a couch. Are there pictures of the couch? What are you talking about? Just stop it. I don't know. You're talking about Tim Couch? Eli Aaron Thomas says, Bob and Tom sent me here for a couch dog. Where it's not very funny. Brian Michael says, you were well within your rights. Tom is an odd guy. Yeah, he's getting weird. I don't know what his problem is. I always try to... He's originally from Cleveland, so I don't know what you guys are talking about with this dumb couch. Frank, stop. I'm not... All right. Anyway, so no animosity to Bob and Tom. I wish them the best. It is what it is. I got to be honest with you. Nothing, Oh, okay, Nick, I'm going to get to this. I'm having a problem with radio guys. I don't know what the hell is going on with me and radio people. I have no animosity to Bob and Tom, but I'll probably never go back on. And, I'm never going to ask, and I doubt they'll have me on. Christy Lee's a sweetheart. Their producer, Dean's a good dude. But Tom got weird, and Chick's a dick. Best of luck. They've made their money. Congratulations. I'm going to talk about this real quick. I actually had topics. Like, I was going to talk about the Michael Jackson Neverland. I was going to talk about R. Kelly. But I'd rather interact with the people for my podcast. Nick McGraw. Did you address the Opie bashing Ron yet? Yes, I did, Nick McGraw. I tweeted it out. Opie, Greg Hughes, is formerly of Opie and Anthony. A couple months ago, I sent Opie a DM about doing his podcast because I wanted to promote my album that was coming out, A White Guy named Chad, which you can go pick up anywhere. You can also stream it on Spotify. If you want to be a cheap fuck and make your own channel, Pandora, make a Chad Zumock channel. If you could do that, that'd be great. And Opie sent me a message back saying, I heard you've been shitting on me. What's the deal on that? And I wrote, I've never said anything bad about you, Opie. I don't know where you're hearing this, but I can tell you it's not true. And he goes, well, I've been hearing things. I go, I don't know who's saying what, but it's just not true. I don't have any animosity. I respect you and Opie and Anthony. I'm a Team Kumia guy for sure. Like, I do a show, and Anthony's been very good to me. But I hadn't, your fight's your fight. I have nothing to do with it. And he goes, okay, cool, man. He goes, well, we'll get you on in the new year. And I left it at that. But it was very odd, very weird, because I honestly didn't say anything bad about him. And I see him taking stabs at people and just going after people. And it's annoying. He's really, really annoying on Twitter. Like, he quote tweets everything so everyone can see it. It's very obnoxious. It's like, just reply to him. I don't want to see someone responding. Like, I don't care. So I almost unfollowed him. But I was just like, that's childish. And then I see him going after my man, Ron Bennington. Bennington is, in my opinion, the best radio guy in the country, the world. Better interviewer than Howard Stern. By the way, just a good dude. Always been great to me. Lets me on a show when I'm in New York. So I see him going after my man Ron Bennington. I'm like, dude, yo, I'm gonna have to. Okay, Nick, Ronnie B's okay. I almost got pissed. He says Ronnie B is the shit. I said, I thought you said Ronnie B is shit. I was like, you're about to get blocked, but no, we're good. No, dude. So I see him go after Ronnie B because I guess he had a guest on. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Carl. And he said, yeah, way not to mention my podcast, Ron. That's a rookie move. By the way, Ron Bennington he's 10 times the better broadcaster than Opie. Opie was good at keeping the show going. He does have that radio hackery, that shock jock 80s, like a lot of those guys do. But he could make the show go, and he knew how to make interesting radio. I'll give him that. But when you go after Ronnie B, and I was in a bad, pissy mood, so I just said, Opie, first of all, I felt really bad that you thought I said bad things about you, and I let that one slide. But when you go after Ronnie B, that's enough, dude. So Opie blocks me. And I'm like, really? You're such a child that you got to block me. And this guy is a guy technically made it in radio. He was there during the radio boom with the big contracts. He had such success in radio where he doesn't technically have to work again. But he thinks he's above everybody. When you start attacking Ronnie B, dude, I got to speak up. You go after Jim. I have nothing against Norton. Norton's been cool. He's had me on his Chip Chipperson podcast. Go after Anthony. Anthony can handle himself. He's one of the quickest minds out there. Funny as shit. Do that. But go after Ronnie B? Come on, dog. That's not cool. Nick McGraw. Opie is as good as a team host, not as an individual. I got to be honest with you. I don't listen to his podcast. I listen to a couple episodes. It's not my cup of tea. I have no ill will to Opie. I know a lot of people that he worked with aren't fans of his, and he pissed off a lot of people, and I can relate. I guess I've pissed off a lot of my old coworkers. I don't get along. I actually had empathy because I haven't talked about it in a long time, and I'm not going to be on this subject, but there's no secret that Alan and I had a bad relationship, and it just wasn't cut and dried, and it went on for a while. And at this point, I have not thought about him in a long time. I've done something along with therapy. I learned through therapy is I quit. I blocked out everything from my old radio station. I don't have everything's blocked. So it is out of sight, out of mind. And if I get messages, I just don't respond. I just let it go. But I had empathy to the Opie Anthony situation, and I can understand being what do you call it? Feeling judged and feeling betrayed. I understood all of it. So that's why I never went after Opie. I'm sure there's a lot more going on behind the scenes that we know of. But when Opie goes after Ronnie B, you're done. Sorry, I jump in. That's where we go. But yeah, okay, that's enough of terrestrial radio, people. For now, terrestrial radio is dying, everybody. Your radio heroes are dying. Radio is dead. It is dead in the water. With the technology, with the cars that are coming out, go listen to podcast or SiriusXM app. That's where the future is. Okay? Nick, I already talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. How was Brody's memorial show? All right, Trishan says, what are my thoughts on the college cheating scam? Now, that's news. That's what's going on right now. Apparently, these rich housewives or families are, one in particular, the great Lori Laughlin, great-looking Lori Laughlin. She still looks phenomenal. She's 54 years old, and she looks great. Oh, now Netflix is dropping Lori Laughlin from Fuller House. You gotta be shitting me. What is wrong with everybody? Everyone's a psycho. Oh, I think it's hilarious. The streaming service has booted actress Lori Laughlin from her role in Fuller House in the wake of this week's college admissions scandal, according to TMZ. She will not be written into the popular show's 5th season, the gossip site reported Friday, citing a well-placed production source. This report came less than a day after Laughlin, age 54, was axed from her longtime role as the face of the Hallmark Channel, in which she starred in numerous series since 2013. You guys gotta be shitting me. This is hilarious. Laughlin is free on a $1 million bail on charges. She was one of dozens of the well-heeled people, including Felicia Huffman, who paid bribes to get kids into top college universities. Laughlin's younger daughter, who seems like a cunt, according to her YouTube, and an Instagram influencer, so she's a raging douchebag. If you say you're an Instagram influencer, you're a douche, okay? You were born rich. Your dad fucking started Massimo, the clothing company, and you're Meanwhile, has been dropped by her hair care brand. What is wrong with everybody? Listen, what they did was dumb. But college, here's the thing about college. I went to college for 7 fucking years. General studies, bitch. And I went on grants and loans. I got a lot of financial aid because I declared myself independent. And I brought home a 2.6 GP. Was it 2.5 or 6? I don't know. It was very, very mediocre and average. But I went through college. I paid off my loans. This has been going on for years, people. College in general is a fucking shakedown. The NCAA with college athletes it's a highway robbery. March Madness is coming up. They're going to make over $1 billion, and these kids get nothing. I lived with a Division I athlete, Kent State's all-time leading scorer, Trevor Huffman, name drop. And I saw his day-to-day activity, getting up, going to work, he was not allowed to work, going to work out, and being on a strict regimen. But meanwhile, stealing my ramen noodles from the closet, driving a shitty car, and his jerseys in the fucking team, the gift shop, and they're making money off of it. So, going back to Lori Laughlin and all this, listen, I don't know. There's always been shady shit going on. I think it's hilarious that she's made it into this criminal and she's getting dropped from everything. It's so stupid. Obviously she's trying to get her kids into college. I don't know. I mean, I know there's rules. I've broken rules. I've broken laws. And apparently this is a law, but I do think they're making it way bigger than what it is. I think it's silly, but I gotta be honest, I'm a little dumb on the ins and outs of why it was so wrong. But I don't know. People will do the damnedest things for their kids' education, huh? I can't believe Fuller House. She dropped by everything. Is she going to be dropped out of Rad 2 with Bill Allen? Is she not going to be able to recreate Send Me an Angel on BMXs? Because that's what I want to know. That's all I care about when it comes to Lori Laughlin. What else is going on with this? Huffman, meanwhile, is accused of paying $15,000 to a fake charity to facilitate cheating for her daughter on SATs. Dude, I cheated. So they're paying people to take the SATs? Is that what's going on? That's been going on for years. Well, best of luck to Lori Laughlin. Thoughts and prayers to her character on Full House and Fuller House. For all you Fuller House fans that's not going to see Lori Laughlin. And just put it out there. If she's listening, I'll bang you. I know you're with Massimo guy, but if it doesn't work out and he dumps you, you call up the Z-Man. I'll take care of a 54-year-old lady. I'll show you a thing or two, Lori Laughlin. You still look good for your age. I'll take care of those kids, too. I'll smack them around. Influencer. She also faces felony conspiracy to commit mail fraud. Oh, mail fraud's involved. Oh, fuck. It just sounds some white-collar crime. And it really is white. It's all white people. Brian Michaels says she is not aged since Rad. I mean, she's aged a little bit, but she still looked good, like similar. I like a little weathering. I like a little life on someone's face. I like a little imperfection. That's my thing. Yeah, Nick McGraw, Forrest Gump's mom, cared about his education too. Yeah, fucking Jenny. Jenny banged Forrest in the college. You got to take care of, that's a good mom. That is a good mom. Nick McGraw, will Shameless drop William H. Macy? I don't know if Shameless is still filming, actually. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to have empathy for millionaires and billionaires. So, again, best of luck, Lori Laughlin. I think it's hilarious that they're turning you into this huge felon, this crazy convict. I'm having fun on Twitter with it. I'm having a good time with it. All right. Essex says, can you give us a take on R. Kelly and MJ? Yes, let's get to, I know I'm a little late on this, but it took me a while, but I want to talk about the Netflix series. Was it it was HBO I watched it on. Speaking of illegal, I have a Fire Stick. I'm not going to tell you where I live. Okay, Leaving Neverland was a 8-hour, 2-part series of two kids talking in graphic detail how Michael Jackson molested them. It was very, very long. It was very long, very disturbing. And here's my take on Leaving Neverland. Billie Jean's a good song. Thriller's a little overrated. Beat It's kind of a jam. PYT, not a big fan of the lyrics, but good jam. But unfortunately, it's hard to overlook that Michael Jackson is indeed a child molester. I'm not even saying alleged. I mean, it's just, this stuff's been circulating for years. It's right in front of your face. He was bringing kids in and out, almost like Leonardo DiCaprio was doing with supermodels. Every time you saw Michael Jackson, he had a new kid on his arm, like Leo did. This guy was pimping him out. He built a fucking pedophile playground, Neverland. And people were saying, well, Macaulay Culkin, Webster. I don't know what Emmanuel Lewis, is he still alive? One of them died. Was it Gary Coleman? Well, Macaulay Culkin, Corey Feldman, they said Michael was never inappropriate with them. Well, here's the thing. Michael would be stupid to be inappropriate with Corey Feldman and Macaulay Culkin because they were movie stars. They were in the limelight. They could easily have ended Michael just going to somebody. So he's not going to fuck with the celebrities, right? He's going to go to the underprivileged homes, the families that were desperate to get their kids famous, and they were so desperate they would just let their kids sleep with Michael Jackson. And it's sad. It's a sad, sad thing, but it's a big wake-up call. I think if we had the social media that we do now, Michael would have been outed right around the Thriller album. It would not have gone on. He was probably the last mega famous person you will ever see again. Nobody will ever be as famous as Michael Jackson. I mean, this guy was huge. When I was growing up, Michael Jackson was everywhere. It was right during the MTV boom generation. You couldn't escape Michael Jackson. I mean, the guy was almost like godlike. And unfortunately, he took advantage of that. You get that famous, you start making your own rules in your head. You think you're invincible, which I think is a Michael Jackson song. Invincible. See, he thought he was invincible. And it's coming out now. Of course, the Jackson family's denying it, and I don't blame them. If my son was a child molester and he had this legacy and he had millions and millions of adoring fans, and you still get a cut of his earnings, of course you're going to deny it. I know LaToya's been on record by saying that Michael is guilty of these things, and where there's smoke, there's fire. Say those kids are lying about 75% of what they're saying. There's still 25% there of bad things. So just say it's exaggerated. He still molested children, and it's disgusting. And Michael was a fucked up dude. Look what he did to his face. Look what he did to himself. I mean, the guy has serious mental issues. And he also lived in a bubble that we'll never know, a fame bubble that's beyond comprehension. And, you know, along with his abuse as a child, of course, I'm not justifying his actions by no means, but he was a fucked up dude. He was fucked up in the head. He was like look how he died. He was paying a doctor to put poison in him. The guy has problems. So, yeah, I believe 100% he's guilty. You know, I don't want him to be guilty. I'd love to know Michael is just the artist. Bill Cosby, you know, say half those girls are lying. He still raped women. He abused his power. R. Kelly abused his power. You get that fame, that fortune, and you just start making your own rules, and that's what they were doing, man. They become narcissists. They think they're untouchable, and it's sad. It's sad that I had to live to see my heroes go down. Essex says, can you separate the art from the man? Yeah, I can. Bill Cosby was a brilliant comedian. Bill Cosby himself's a great special. Michael Jackson had jams, you know. He had a song called Jam. But there are other artists. I mean, look at fucking everyone's fucked up. Look at what's his name? The guy who the guitar player, the fucking Johnny B. Good. Barry? Why am I drawing a blank, man? Can you help me out? So Michael Jackson is a pedophile. It's sad what he did to these young kids, and, you know, lesson be learned. I think if anything good comes, Chuck Berry, yes, Chuck Berry. Look, I mean, the shit he did, pissing on women. Everyone's a scumbag. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 14-year-old cousin. Yeah, so artists, you know, even NBA athletes or just athletes in general, a lot of them are horrible people. And, you know, LeBron James is a great basketball player, but he's a fucking douchebag. Oh, don't get me started on LeBron. I'll save it for Punch Drunk. LeBron showed his true colors. This was a disaster of a Lakers season. Disaster. That's what you get for leaving Cleveland. So you could be Hollywood. You got chewed up and spit out. You have distractions all around. Your team stinks. You didn't make your team better. You had it good in Cleveland. We made you. We made you, LeBron James. We made you, Kyrie Irving. And now you're both miserable. Both of you are miserable on your teams. You both wanted to be the men, and you wanted to fucking look at you guys, just miserable. And we could have had a dynasty in Cleveland. We could have won. maybe a couple more if we would have just stuck together and figured it out. But you're all raging egomaniacs. You're narcissists. Why am I going down this road? Oh, can you separate the art? Yeah. Yes, I can. It's ridiculous. All right, where are we at here? Okay, we're at 40 minutes, going solo, going strong. You got it. Brody Stevens. Yes. Well, shit, dude. I think this is the podcast. I appreciate everyone tuning in to the Facebook Live. Thanks to everybody. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. If you can go to the 5 stars on iTunes, leave a comment, leave a rating, pick up my album, stream it for free if you don't got the cash. That's on Spotify. Make a channel. Do it on Pandora too, would you? Share it with a friend. And if you want extra content, go over to the Patreon, Sit Down Zumock, patreon.com/sitdownzumock, and you could be on the Patreon, dog, and you can get bonus content. You can listen to my Honeydew episode before it's out this Wednesday. Right now with Ryan Sickler, man, I talk about my life. Honeydew's great because I talk about all the shitty things in my life, everything I was going through. I talk about my depression. I talk about the Simone's incident in January that was exploited back home and blown out. I talk about everything. It's a fucking great episode. I love getting sober. I love getting confident. And I just love seeing where I was and where I'm at. And it's good. If anyone's struggling out there, reach out to a friend. And if you want to reach out to me, man, do it. Yeah, at the beginning of this episode, I talk about my buddy Brody Stevens. And it's just, people are hurting. Life is hard, man. Life is hard for everybody. Not just me, but everybody. We all dealing with something. We're all going through something. And I have a lot of empathy to that right now. Going through my own struggles, watching my friends go through theirs, and I see how people treat other people going through struggles. And I made a pledge to myself to not judge somebody dealing with something, even if they're being self-destructive, even if they're killing themselves or hurting people around them. I know they're going through something. And, I hope if you're dealing with some depression, if you're dealing with your problems, you reach out to somebody you care about, somebody you can trust. Because there are people that care. There are people in my life who care. There were a lot of people who I thought cared. They didn't care. But there are people who give a shit. And you need to lean hard on them. And then when you start getting your shit together, return the favor. Take care of those who take care of you. Be loyal. Don't use people. All right? Look at that message. I wrapped it in a bow. Professional broadcaster. The Z-Man. The Lawson's Chip Dip consumer has been baller. 2.56 grade point average. Kent Stater signing off. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening.